pretty thankful for lots of things and lots of people. Maybe I'll start with my wife, Brooke, for one of the main things I'm thankful for, because without her and her passion to see dreams come true, I don't think I would have ever chased after becoming a race car driver. I'm thankful for our daughters, all three of them, Paige, Haley, and Ryan. They support me in this, whether they know it or not, just by being willing to come along for the ride. And it's really rewarding and fun to see smiles on their face as well when they are enjoying it. And there's certainly times where they're not. And there were certainly times in the early days where they weren't. And those were also some of the times where you're questioning, is this really worth it? Like, how much sacrifice for everybody else is this worth to go drive race cars? I'm extremely thankful to Kevin and Deborah Buckler for their vision to go sports car racing in the first place and to create this team and all this success, and then to be there with doors and arms open to somebody like me. I wasn't a proven name or anything like that when I walked into their paddock the first time. And now we're very close friends, we're family friends, we vacation together, we party together, we have fun together, and we get to go racing together. And this year, with their move back to their roots with Porsche, they've included me at the very ground level, and that's huge. As a, this would be kind of my true breakout in professional racing if this works out the way that Kevin and I are hoping that it will. I mean, last year was huge with what we did in Pirelli World Challenge, and it was still kind of a pieced together way to go racing. I had a great teammate in Jason Alexandridis and his wife Maggie. I'm very thankful for that. And it was really the only way that I could have had a full season with the only partial budget that we had. We didn't have enough sponsorship or enough budget to go do it all on our own. So we met and got along famously and had a really great season together. I couldn't have asked for more. My first year really professional racing. To have had 2 wins, multiple second places, I think 7 podiums this year between Pirelli World Challenge and the Aston and Lamborghini Super Trofeo racing. And I don't know if I could have dreamt that in my wildest dreams. Lots of guys have been doing this for 20 years and still haven't got their first win. So that was huge. I'm thankful to Pirelli World Challenge for the platform to go do that. We had a lot of support from the series and the people within the series, and they were really good about being inclusive of us and putting a spotlight on us at times and giving us the stage to go do this. And then there's people that you wouldn't even expect to become fans and supporters. Both photographers. Brian Cleary has become a really familiar face in the paddock, and there's just a comfort of seeing him there and knowing that he's capturing it all. Joseph with Red Case Photography has become a really great friend and fan and accomplished photographer. He just sent me one of the most heartfelt letters thanking me. I was like, why is he thanking me? And whatever we were doing, it tied to a story from his past, and he felt support or drive to keep chasing his dream by seeing what we're doing. So that was really cool. Very thankful to be able to be seen in that way, or to have that kind of influence on somebody with what we're doing, because so much of racing feels like a kind of a selfish sport at times. I mean, there's in sprint racing, there's just you behind the wheel, and there's 100 people working really hard to make all that happen. Endurance racing, it's the same way, a little bit more team focused. You've got a handful of drivers that are also reliant on you bringing home a clean car, and I love that side of it. So I have had a great team. I mean, I'm really thankful for John Graham, the lead mechanic of my car all year, and the entire team at TRG. I mean, there's all the way from Ryan and the graphics department, all of the mechanics, the guys working on tires, and the guys driving the trucks. I mean, and then you've got Danielle and all of them in the marketing department, all working on our behalf. It's pretty humbling and overwhelming when you start to really sit down and think about it and all the people that are there to make this happen for you. I'm thankful to Ryan Hunter-Reay and his organization Racing for Cancer, and their openness to to bring me into that loop, again, as a pretty unknown driver. And I felt like we've been able to make a real difference there, and we've, you know, met people along the way like Kate and Mason, and seen them and been inspired by them fighting for their lives. And, you know, and it's really humbling to watch them. And there have been times where it's lifted me up. You know, there's been times where I felt like giving up or not continuing at this. And then you go, wait a minute, like, these kids are not giving up, and they're in a fight 1,000,000 times harder than anything that I'm doing. I should be able to figure this out. And so it's kind of a humbling in that way. Simon Ward, artist, he does amazing artwork, and he's been hugely supportive. Met him through John with Parada de la Strada, another really, really great supporter, another really talented person. I mean, some of his design skills and some of the t-shirts and hats and stuff he's put together for us are really, really cool. And he's just always there. I mean, every time we talk on the phone, he's almost apologetic. Derek, I'm sorry my company's not bigger to be able to do more. I want to make this all work together. What you're doing inspires me, and I say the same to him. Now you inspire me, and we're going to work together. We're going to get your company bigger and more successful so we can go do more racing together. I'm very thankful for my relationship with BRM Chronographs, with both Frederic and Bernard. They have been gigantic supporters and one of the coolest and most fun side projects that's tied to racing that we have. I mean, their company is so focused on racing, and they saw something in me as a driver and a brand ambassador, again, like before I was even close to being a known name in racing. And phone calls with Frederic are always pretty uplifting. He always reminds me of how much good that we're doing, and that we really are a strong force together. My family has been very supportive. It started out slow, but now that they see what we're doing, they've kind of come along, and it's really a cool feeling to see my mom and my dad at the races and smiling, and I think thoroughly and truly enjoying it. And that's really cool, because that was a hard part for me. I'm a real people pleaser. I don't like to do things that people don't like, and to have the support from your parents is giant. My wife Brooke's parents have also been very supportive. They're always willing to jump in and help with the kids, or if there's a chance to come to the race, they come and they join in and totally enjoy every little piece of it, and it's really fun to be able to see that. And their words are always encouraging too, which is such a big part, because there are lots of down times in racing where you're questioning if you really should be doing this. And from them and people like Louise, our life coach, you know, it's always so uplifting, and there's always a reminder of if it's the right thing to be doing, it'll keep working and it'll work itself out. People are always willing to get creative too and open their book of connections when you're starting to talk about sponsorship and partnerships. You know, Aunt Susie is one of those. Leslie with Southern Oregon Magazine has been one of those, and has made some great connections. Gail Bensler is an amazing PR person, and she found us through the Adobe Road wine tasting room. You know, she was there in Sonoma tasting wine and saw racing stuff, and she's a huge racing fan, and ended up connecting with us. And she was kind of the driving force behind the introduction to Mason and the Racing for Cancer connection and fundraising there. And Gail continues to work with us and for us, and is a huge part of, I think, the momentum that's going to build and what we're going to accomplish next year. My team at work is a huge support. I couldn't be doing this at all without them being willing to stay behind and stay at home and run the stores and keep things going. And at times they've been able to come to the races as well. So, I mean, they've become big fans and big supporters, and it's fun to see them get something out of it. We've got some really amazing partners with the team as well. Steve and Violet with LaSalle Solutions. They've become really, really great friends, and they're so fun to have around in the paddock, and there's so much that they do that makes all of this able to happen. And they're just really, really great, fun people to be around as well. I would put Carlos and Beverly into that pool as well. Huge team supporters. The stuff that they put together, like our event in St. Petersburg, is pretty much completely due to them and their passion of the city that they live in, and them wanting to share their world with us when we come there, and it's super cool. Some of the other drivers on the team, I'm thankful for these friendships and relationships. You know, Sean has become a great friend. I already talked about Jason. Max and Chris, they were really fun to compete with and be on the road with this year. Really, really great people. Max's dad, Dave, we did a big ski trip last year with the team and got to really have just an awesome time together away from the track, which is interesting because sometimes these are like some of our closest friends and closest people in our life, but we just see each other once or twice a month, and it's always at a racetrack. Now, it might be somewhere else in the world or somewhere else in the country, but when it comes down to it, they're kind of almost all the same. We see a hotel room, we see our familiar TRG transporter, and we see the racetrack. And it doesn't matter if we're in Toronto or Le Mans, France, or Sebring, Florida. It's kind of, we're all together doing the same thing all the time. So it was fun to get some time away from the track together. Brandon Davis has become a really close friend and also at this a lot longer than me, so all these guys are people that have, in some way, shape, or form, mentored me or given me something to learn. They've helped me learn the cars and the tracks early on. I've done a lot of co-driving with James Davison, and we get along famously and we do real well in the car together. Jerome Bleakmullen, we got a chance to co-drive this year as well, so just a random circumstance on a weekend, and all of a sudden you've got a new friend and somebody who you'll always share something with for the rest of your life. You know, we had a very successful weekend together at COTA and the Lamborghini. And so much of that again has happened because of Kevin and the team. He continues to put me in front of these huge opportunities, and it's pretty humbling. Very, very thankful. Matt Ambrosiak, aka Little Debbie, has also been a huge supporter, and sometimes he's there to kind of narrow my focus sometimes. Sometimes I get going in lots of directions, and especially when we start talking about sponsorship and partnerships, and he's been down the path a long time in a lot of different ways, and he'll kind of rein things in sometimes. Derek, that's a great idea. Derek, that's not a good idea. We're gonna do this, we're not gonna do that. There's been a lot of kind of strategic thought, I think, that's been guided by lots of people to get to where we are, and it's really been a conscious effort to surround ourselves with positive thinkers, visionary thinkers, people that are willing to think outside the box, people that are a positive influence in your life, not people that are gonna create problems or drama or drag you down. And so many people have helped me see that and learn that. And it's been challenging at times, but I would have to say that the whole crew at CrossFit The Den has been, and that's where we work out, it's CrossFit Gym.
Thanks for coming. Friendsgiving. You know, I love watching you guys like crush PRs and kill workouts, but it's something to come together as a community and family to share a meal together, and couldn't think of a better group to do it with than you guys here.
All the way from our kind of first contact there, Lou, and then Austin and Annie, the new current owners of the gym, and Justin is also one of the really close trainers that we train with, and all of them have been so prayerful and have helped open my eyes as to what is okay to pray about, how to pray big, ask for the moon, and they've been a big part of that, and I'm very, very grateful for that relationship. And the rest of the people there, it's like leadership like that brings in like-minded people. So just going to a gym and having that kind of feeling makes something that can be kind of miserable pretty fun and feel pretty good. You look forward to going and sweating it out at the gym there. I think I've always known how important it is to have positive thought and how much that does affect an outcome and how something turns out. It's hard to always remember that though. And there are times where it just feels like everything's working against you. And there's so much, there was quite a feeling of pressure actually, and expectation after such a great 2016 season. I mean, we won the team championship. We came in second place in driver points. And like most people in the world say, oh great, that all should work out really well for you. I'm sure 2017 is gonna be great. When in reality, the odds are that you're gonna be standing on the sidelines unless you get everything else right. And it's been hard to keep that positive focus and assuming that's going to happen, because the business side of this is so hard. It's way harder than any other business I've been in, but at the same time, it's really fun. It's enjoyable and it's a huge challenge. But I don't want to find myself on the sidelines. And I was feeling pretty down this week. It just felt like nothing was coming together. None of the deals were happening. None of the sponsorship talks were happening. And I don't know, I was just reminded to pray about it, to do my prayerful work, and started getting up again early in the morning, 5:30 I come down, and I found Joel Osteen has some really good words at times. It always seems to fit, or even if I'm not into listening to that, just to go sit and be quiet and think about how many things are going right and how many things are good. And it seems like the moment, every time I remember to go back there, things start working. This week when I was starting to feel down and things weren't working, I was listening to Joel Osteen, and basically it was a talk about how God ultimately knows what the big plan is much better or different than what we do. And was talking about opening doors and closing doors. And sometimes sometimes doors close for a reason, and it's so a bigger, better one can open. That had you gone through door number one, you wouldn't have seen what was behind door number two. And that's helped me this week. Each time I came up across a hurdle, it was like, well, maybe that hurdle's supposed to be there, so I go this direction instead. I 1000% know I have a home with TRG and with the Buckler family and that whole crew there. I love it there, we fit in perfectly. And along with that, it really felt like I had a long-term spot with Aston Martin, and really enjoyed being able to drive those cars. And I'll still be able to drive those cars because this team will still be running those in Pirelli World Challenge. But with this announcement and their partnership, coming back full circle with Porsche is pretty cool to get to be a part of. So I'm really, really pushing to get to take my racing to the next level and be in the WeatherTech IMSA series and the new TRG Porsche, and hopefully go score them their 5th win at Daytona in a 24-hour. That'd be a pretty epic way to start the year. I think the most important thing about chasing your dreams is being willing to. Be uncomfortable, get outside the box, be courageous, think big. The worst thing that could happen is it doesn't work out, but it's for surely not gonna work out if you don't try. So you just kind of got to put yourself out there. It's really uncomfortable sometimes, and it's really hard sometimes. When it's feeling really hard, you've put yourself out there and it's really challenging. You look at weekends like the one in Road America where I got to experience my first professional racing win, and it makes it all so worth it. It makes it all so worthwhile.
Chop chop!